Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Friday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We're pumped. We got football, man. I was watching football all last night. NFL football everywhere. We got Bucs and Titans in the big stadium coming up tomorrow night. So we're going to give you what to watch for in that game. We're going to recap a little bit of yesterday's joint practice. We did that on yesterday's show, but we'll give you a little recap of that as well. The Rays are back at it, but more importantly, Stu Sternberg is back at it. Gigantic piece in the New York Times telling us how awesome Stu Sternberg is.
Oh, wow.
Kind of missed the point, but so we'll get into that as well. The Burnham brothers are going to join us today. Hot new college football podcast with Pat and his brother Shane, two longtime assistant coaches in college football. That'll be super fun. That'll be at 12:30. And Tito, Jeff Thitoff will join us at 1:30 to talk some fantasy football as we all get ready for our draft. So good morning to you, Tim Ham. How are you?
I cannot tell you, JP, what a thrill it was to sit at the bar last night and watch football on TV. I know it's preseason, but still, man, I had to cover the Ravens and the Colts, which was not a bad game for a preseason tilt. I mean, you had some bad quarterback play, but it was still football. And he had a close game at the end, and it kind of came down to a last possession and an interception by the Ravens defense. Kind of like what we'll probably see in the regular season with the Ravens. But, you know, and then we had Raiders, Seahawks after that, the return of Pete Carroll to Seattle.
Which he was crushed when he lost at the gun.
It ended in a tie.
Well, it was a tie, right? But
we had a tie.
You have a chance to kick a game-winning field goal and it gets blocked.
Yeah.
That's an L.
You're right.
It's an L.
But preseason's back. Football's back. Bucs are Saturday, like you said, in the big stadium.
This feels good.
Got Browns tonight. I'll be taking part in, and
Shador getting the start tonight.
Premiere of Shador Sanders on the.
How about that?
And you know what? Everybody's making a big deal about this.
Well, they should. It's a big deal.
It's not. It's not a big deal.
Do
you know why Shador Sanders is starting tonight?
Because
everybody else is hurt.
Pickett and Dillon are hurt.
Yes. Yeah. And they're not going to play Joe Flacco in the preseason.
Conveniently, they're hurt.
So we'll see. He hasn't even played with the first team yet this summer, but I don't know how
is he going to play?
Anyway.
Yeah, is he even going to play with the first team?
Whatever first teamers. You know what? Those first teamers need to be playing because they need all the freaking help they can get up there in the Clee.
You know, it's that's interesting. Think about that. If you're the Browns, like, what are you saving your ones for? With the exception of Myles Garrett, everybody plays. Hell, Cincinnati, finally figured out, wow, we're 1-9 in the last 3 years in our first quarter of the game, 1-11, I think it is. Yeah. In their last 4 years or 3 years of the first quarter of the season. Trying to do the math in my head there on the run. It's not easy for a man like me. 1-11. So Zach Taylor's like, you know what? Joe Burrow, you're going to play. Jamar Chase, you're going to play. You're going to get ready for the season. I think that's smart. The Bucs, they go the other way. Right. But they've won their openers, last 3 years, I think they've won. So, it depends on different philosophies. Different teams need different things. If I'm the Bears, I'm playing Caleb Williams. Yeah. But he ain't playing.
He ain't playing.
That, you know what that tells me? He's so bad right now. We don't want the public to see this in this new offense.
I would say poor Chicago, but they just do this to themselves. They're like Cleveland. They just do this to themselves, man. And then poor Joe Burrow, speaking of the Bengals, he has an MVP type season last year on a 9-8 team that misses the playoffs because your defense sucks. And just based on what we saw last night, he looks like he's in for much more of the same in 2025 because that defense is terrible.
Tanner McKee throwing for 253 yards, 20 of 25, 253 yards and 3 touchdowns. Johnny Wilson, the ex-FSU guy, making grabs all over the place. So you're telling me that Bengals defense is not great? Could they use a guy like Trey Hendrickson, you think? Possibly.
Yeah, but he may never play for the Bengals again.
Yeah,
like,
and that just goes to show you, the Bucs are in great shape. They are in great shape. All across the NFL landscape, things are just absolutely imploding. Matthew Stafford has a bad back, hasn't taken a snap for the Rams, who are on our schedule and one of the NFC favorites to win. And their quarterback hasn't taken a snap. Now, it's kind of by design. They have sat him out for this long, and they're going to let him get out there and work out before the game on Saturday. And if everything goes well and he's pain free, he's going to start practicing on Monday. So don't panic yet if you're a Rams fan, or don't applaud yet if you're a Bucs fan. Not, you know what I mean, figuratively. Applauding. We don't want anybody to get hurt, especially a good dude like Matthew Stafford. But yeah, it just, you look around, Slater, their offensive lineman, they just made the highest paid offensive lineman. It goes down with a knee injury, season-ending knee injury. That's awful with Rashawn Slater for the Chargers. So
in a non-contact injury too, man.
Yeah. So hey, all over the league, bad things are happening, but knock on wood so far. I mean,
last night with the Ravens, their star rookie Bilal Cohn goes down with it was a gross too.
That was a gross leg. Yeah, was that a busted leg?
Yeah, and he blew his knee out and I think cracked a bone in his leg. All to say, they put him in an air cast.
Yeah, that thing was going the wrong way. You could see that. Woof. Yeah, that was no good. And what a laugh. But Anthony Richardson, hello, train coming. He just, God bless him. He just has no feel for the position. You missed it last night. Anthony Richardson, I think it was the first snap he took. Just standing there, supposed to have a quick pass, get rid of it. Nobody blocks the defensive end, and he just absolutely trucks him. Never saw him coming from his right. How do you not see a guy that big or feel it or hear it? I mean, it's a train is coming, and he just stands there and gets whacked and breaks his pinky finger. So now he's out. Enter Daniel Jones, who looked okay. I thought he looked okay.
Yeah, he didn't look bad.
But
future Hall of Famer.
He's going to be a better choice than Anthony Richardson. I heard Drew Brees on Dan Patrick today talking about this, and he was asked about, how do we know about anything about these young quarterbacks? He said, first and foremost, if you haven't had 40, 50, 60 starts in college, it's going to be a really tough go, because you don't really know anything about playing the position until you've had that many starts at a high level, being college or above. You just don't. And he's absolutely right. And Anthony Richardson is an absolutely number one example of that. Tremendous talent. Absolutely. But had played 15 starts in college at University of Florida. A good kid, but just you're so far behind the eight ball. You just have not played enough. You don't have the spatial awareness. You haven't developed that yet. You haven't developed a feel for the passing game in terms of anticipation. You just, it's like, you're going into the NFL on training wheels, and nobody has the patience for that to take 3 or 4 years. Nobody, no organization.
No. We talk about the speed of the game and rookie quarterbacks having to adjust to the speed of the NFL from the speed of the game in college. A guy with 15 collegiate starts hasn't even got up to speed in college. Yeah, he's not even adjusted to the college speed yet, and now he's jumping to the NFL. And look at the difference between a guy like Anthony Richardson and Jaden Daniels, who started in college for 5 years.
Yes.
And his immediate impact on his team. And Bo Nix. Yeah.
Bo Nix. He's another one.
Joe Burrow.
Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy had 60 starts at Iowa State. It makes a difference, a huge difference. So, and so that I don't even put this on Anthony Richardson. This is an organizational disaster. You don't take a quarterback with that few starts. It's impossible. And it's going to be it's already an unmitigated disaster. So
wasn't that the story with Trey Lance? Like, he only started one season, right?
Yes.
Now he's sparing everybody to death in LA?
Yeah, it's just too much. It's too much to ask. It's a terrible position to put these guys into.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Well, you know what? We don't have an issue with that with Baker Mayfield.
No, definitely not.
He's played a lot of football, and he's really just coming into his own. And he had a great day yesterday. Now he's not going to play Saturday night against the Titans. But you know what? We're going to get a great look at Kyle Trask in the fire with not necessarily with the ones. I don't necessarily think he's going to get the first team offensive line, which is, sad, but he'll be going against the twos of the Titans for most of the night. The Titans will probably play a few starters on defense early, but most of the night he'll be going against the twos. So let's see what he's got. Let's see what, this is going to be an opportunity and maybe his last opportunity to really show something to the coaches to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to give up this backup job that easy to Teddy Bridgewater, even though I think it's pretty much already done. But he's got a chance. He's got a chance, and maybe this is what he needs to get a kick in the ass to go play, and we'll see what he can do. And I think you're going to see probably a lot of what we've seen, but maybe not, that he just is struggling to play on time, get the ball out in rhythm and in time. He's not accurate as he needs to be. Sometimes he makes, yesterday was a perfect example. His first snap, he throws one up for grabs, a deep ball with the safety sitting right there over the top. And luckily the safety dropped it. He throws into double coverage, deep, terrible throw, terrible read. What are you doing? The next play comes back and rips one across the middle to Sterling Shepard, right in front of the safety in between a linebacker and a corner. I mean, you just can't make a better throw than that. But that's Kyle Trask. In 50%, it's not going to work in this league. It's not, especially when, the first one should have been intercepted, and a lot of them should be intercepted. So we'll get a great dose of Kyle Trask, and you guys can make your decision on whether he should stick around or Teddy's going to have a door wide open to take this backup quarterback position. And even if Trask plays well, that doesn't necessarily mean they're still going to have confidence in him. Trask does not possess what Teddy Bridgewater does, and that's 78 starts in the NFL, and in 100 or 90.5 passer rating. The guy has just played, and he's played well in this league, and Kyle has not. So we'll see. Other things to watch for tomorrow. Jacob Parrish, who's just having a terrific training camp, the young corner out of Kansas State. He's just, I think you're going to see probably him make a few plays. I think Servassier Dennis is probably going to get some look. I don't know, like some of these players like Servassier, who's going to be a starter, how much will he play? He needs to get more reps, but how much will he really get? I don't know. Well, we'll see some of the younger corners play. BMO, as they say, Benjamin Morrison, he has been out, so I don't think he's going to play. We won't really get a good look at him. J.J. Roberts is a guy who made another highlight reel interception yesterday. You're going to see a lot of him. So there's going to be some good stuff to look for. I'm not sure how much Abuka is going to play. Like this is how good he is, and I think you can pencil him in as the slot guy to start the season. I think we're all have come to the conclusion that Godwin's just not going to be ready. He's not. We haven't seen him run at all out there at training camp, even off to the side. We haven't seen him do anything but walk around out there. He's not walking with a limp or anything, but he's certainly not running either, which he could be doing at other times. I don't know, but we haven't seen it. So I don't expect him to be ready to go by week 1. So Abuka is going to be your slot guy to start the season. How much run does he get in the preseason? I don't know. I think he should play some. I definitely think he should play some, but we'll see what they decide on that. Also yesterday, I wonder if how many of the, like Hassan Reddick, how much is he going to play? Still getting used to this scheme. I would doubt he would play a lot because he's ready to go. It looks like made a big interception yesterday on the first 11-on-11 scrimmage play against Cam Ward. And as I said yesterday, Cam Ward looked really, really good. I think just in first glance, he's going to be a really good quarterback in this league. He just, the way he throws the ball, he's just really, really gifted, and he can flick it out there with great accuracy and great velocity, and he finds passing lanes to get the ball through. He's just really, really good. Now, obviously, in these scrimmages, you can't hit the quarterback, but and when you go to it's just different when you're not going to get hit. So God bless him. I hope he stays alive this year. behind that offensive
Because
line.
they got no offensive line.
Yeah. The Bucs defensive linemen were just eating them alive yesterday. Kalijah Cansey, unblockable. Vita Vea, unblockable. Hassan Reddick, unblockable. Logan Hall, unblockable. They're just destroying them. So Cam's going to be running for his life. Hopefully he can survive. And that's what's kind of sad about, the NFL. If there's one fault that they have, is that these young quarterbacks who are kind of the lifeblood of your league, right? They come in and you need great quarterbacks. They make this league fun. We need another generation of great quarterbacks. And Cam Ward comes to a team where he's going to get sacked probably 60 times this year. Same thing with Caleb Williams, got sacked 68 times last year. A lot of that was on him. And again, there's a quarterback who didn't have a whole lot of starts in college, so really difficult for him to kind of pick it up in midstream. I think Cam's a really, really talented player, but I don't know how much he's going to be able to show this year. He's got Lockett, he's got a couple of nice receivers, but no dominant guys. And not a great offensive line. So good luck to him. And I don't know how much we're going to see Cam Ward tomorrow night. I think he's going to get a couple series, but it'll be interesting to see if he plays and how much he does play. All right, and we'll talk some more Buccaneers as we go on through the show. If you have any questions about what's going on, Christopher Cole says Braswell will be the one I'll be watching, number 43. Yep. He's going to get a lot of run. He's a guy that they're counting on really to step up in his second year. So we'll be looking at him.
Yeah, I don't think they need a big year from Chris Braswell, but they certainly need some contributions, right? Like as a rotation guy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Reddick and Yaya are going to be the main guys, but Anthony Nelson and Braswell. Anthony, I think, had 6 sacks last year. Anthony Nelson has done really well in the limited amount of snaps that he gets. He produces. Of course, had that big strip last year that basically saved the season. So, and we'll see what Braswell can do. He's been looking much better in training camp. He seems way more confident. We talked to him last week, and he just seems way more confident, talks about that. So that'll be another player worth watching, number 43. And we'll see who emerges. Some of these guys that have been having good camps, Brian Miller, receiver, although he doesn't really have much of an opportunity, I think, to make this team just numbers-wise. But, Tez Johnson, who's not been out there, Cam Johnson is hurt again. So these guys need to get out there and show something, and they're really not. They've been hurt. So, and obviously they won't be playing tomorrow night. All right, I wanted to get into a little bit before we get to the Burnham brothers, talk some college football. So the New York Times did a piece on Stu Sternberg, and it really, really kind of smacks of I don't know how to say it. It's just a really self-serving kind of thing that maybe Sternberg. What's that?
It's self-serving for the paper or for Stu?
For Stu.
Okay.
For Stu. I'm trying to call up it because it was behind a paywall, so I have to get my go through. Oh,
you have to get your cheat code.
Yeah, my cheat code to get it. Yeah, and it was written by New York Times. I don't even know if this guy's a Bruce Schoenfeld.
Is it an athletic piece? It must be an athletic piece.
No, this is a New York Times magazine piece by Bruce Schoenfeld, who put, months of work into this, months of work in meeting with Sternberg up in New York, and a couple other times. And it's the way they write this. And we met at a small tea shop.
Oh,
Lord. So New York. Let me see if I can see this. Where is it? I hate doing this on the air, you guys. I should have marked this, but
he's also written for Esquire, Fast Company, Sports Illustrated, and GQ. JP.
Yeah. So it's not your typical sports piece.
Yeah,
to be sure. Yeah. So you're talking about we met at a tea room, and he ordered some blueberry pie.
Oh my God!
Like I said, it's not a traditional sports piece.
It's a fluff piece.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of feels like, Hey, I'm selling. I'm selling the team, but I want my story out there to all my Wall Street buddies. So when I return to the club in New York, they'll all have read this in the New York Times and know what a genius I am and how unfair it's been that nobody showed up in my games, and everybody hates me. I'm so victim. It's one of these same Sternberg. I want to go find some false narrative to be victim and play myself as the victim. I'll pick myself up and dust myself off type, mentality. It doesn't delve into any of the real darkness that really happened here that you know about. But what I will say about it is it's a very well-written piece, and it really does, in a very kind of analytical way, oddly enough, ironically enough, talk about the great innovations that Sternberg and his team came up with over the years. The money, taking Moneyball to another level, right? And I think that's well deserved. I think that's absolutely well deserved. These guys came up with the ideas that basically leverage lower paid players to be competitive. And we know all about that, how that all became with Joe Madden. We've known all that. That's probably new to 90% of the readers of the New York Times. So it reads like, he came in and these geniuses turned baseball. They were so smart that they had to outlaw some of the things they came up with. And that's true. And that's 100% true. And he should get credit for that. But when you look at his tenure from 40,000 feet, and I think this is the crux of it, and they covered this, and I was glad that they did. And let me just read this part. He said, more than most teams, the Rays are willing to trade emerging stars for low-salary prospects rather than re-sign them at the going rate. Rob Manfred, the league commissioner, believes that this approach is part of the problem. Quote, every baseball team, he told me, no matter how successful, has to balance the desire to win on the field with the business side of the business, which largely turns on building fan loyalty, a strategy where you have higher turnover, regardless of the success you have on the field, makes it harder to develop a large, loyal fan base. Fans get attached to players. Yes. Mm-hmm. It's a part of the romance of the game that makes baseball unique. He continues, when I relayed Manfred's opinion to Sternberg, he didn't disagree. Quote, we just don't think we have the luxury of doing both, winning and keeping those guys, he said. He shrugged, so we just win. Kind of a smart-ass little comment there, but he's not completely wrong. And you guys know my feelings for Stu Sternberg, but I try to be objective in this analysis. But I would also push back on that and say you could have kept some of these players instead of putting the money into your pocket. We talk about this all the time with revenues well over $300 million, easily reaching into the 350s. We believe, we don't know, but we believe Forbes says this. A lot of the different places that track this say this. When your player costs are 60, 70, $80 million payrolls, and player costs, with it, insurance, minor leagues, and all that, reaching, okay, let's be conservative or go give him a lot of leeway here and say 110 to 120 million. What are you doing with the other 200 million? You're putting it doesn't all go into your pocket. There are some other costs, et cetera, but a lot of that is going into his pocket and always has. So, so it's a very interesting piece, and it doesn't obviously go into the fact that he never understood about being involved in the community. Right. He never really understood the romance of the game, oddly enough, because that he grew up being a big fan of it. But when you run a team like a Wall Street hedge fund, it becomes impersonal and analytic, which is the exact opposite of what brings people to baseball. What brings people to baseball is the smell of the grass, the pop of the glove, the crack of the bat, the players that you idolize and you grow up with. I mean, that's the romance of the game. That's the game we all know and love. And ironically enough, we play in a Walmart. That that is where you don't see real grass, where the crack of the bat is a metallic echo. The pop of the mitt just doesn't sound right because we're in a Walmart. I mean, all of the things that we love about baseball we were never able to wrap our arms around with the Sternberg Rays. having an owner that we want to support because he always spit at the community and told us we weren't a major league city and hung banners for Montreal and wanted to sell us away to Montreal and leave and all that foolishness. And even the Montreal thing, which in this, they still romance about. Matt Silverman still talks about what a great idea it is. And from an analytical business standpoint, it was a great idea. Yeah. We can build 2 cities out of public money. We can have 3 television contracts. We can sell great tickets in both markets. Yeah, that's great for the owners, for you guys, not the fans, not the players. It's a disaster for the fans and players. That's what you never understood. Yes, you guys were geniuses and made you look good, but nobody wants to see that in baseball. We don't want the artificial, analytical, impersonal Walmart of baseball. Nobody wants that. We're certainly not going to drive an hour and a half over a bridge to see it. It's more than winning. If you win, they will come. No, that's the 1980s mentality. And there's a part in here where Sternberg says, we're in a singular situation where we won this much. It basically says where we won this much and people didn't show up. It's never happened before in baseball. That's right. Yeah. Because that doesn't work. You can be you're a faux competitor. You're competing on the field, but not really to win a championship. It's all fake. And people figure it out, especially those in Tampa Bay. We figure it out. You can't fool us like you thought you could. So, yeah, it makes you guys look great, all these great innovations, but in the end, they outlawed your shift. The opener taxes your bullpen too much. A lot of these innovations you do, people have caught up to them, or it's not good for baseball. And that's your legacy, Stu Sternberg. Yeah, you were smart. You were innovative. But you weren't a baseball man. The thing you wanted most, you were not. Nobody wants to see that kind of baseball. Yep. And that's why baseball said goodbye to you and forced you out. And this is a nice epitaph from the New York Times, which is perfect for you. So you could go back up there and tape it to your wall and tell everybody what a genius you were, when in fact you were a tremendous failure. A tremendous failure. You could never get the stadium right, which is a key to the whole deal. People have to go half hour away Monday through Thursday. We've talked about this. And you need a state-of-the-art stadium that people are elevated by, that is inspirational and aspirational. And you were too cheap to pull the trigger. So in the end, it was a disaster. Yeah, sure, there were some nice innovations, but you're not a baseball guy. And your legacy is going to be one of complete failure in Tampa Bay, despite what the New York Times wants to write. All right, quick
JP,
break.
Real quick, before you go to break. In 15, 20 years, will anybody in Tampa Bay look back and think or say or discuss, man, I'm sure glad that Stu gave us blank to the,
I think
to the community,
some.
to the team, to was there anything that stands out in his reign of terror that people will look back on and go, you know what? I'm glad this happened. Stu gave us this back in such and such.
Listen, will our winning percentage be as good with the new guys? Probably not. Probably not. It's going to be, there's only 2 other teams, the Dodgers and the Yankees, that have won more games over this tenure.
Yeah.
Since 2008. So it probably, but it will be better for the fans and the players and the community. And that matters. And maybe we'll have a better chance to win a World Series. Whether we'll win as many regular season games, probably not. But I don't care about that. I'd rather be in the hunt for the real deal and enjoy supporting our team. Even if we don't win, as many wild card banners.
Yeah.
No,
Woo-hoo.
We'll at least be able to hug our players and our baseball team and not have to hold our nose.
And welcome back your alumni.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, the Burnham brothers are waiting to talk some college football with us. Cannot wait. Shane and Pat, great new podcast. So if you have any college football questions, these guys have all of the answers. Great knowledge of the game And I can't wait to talk to him. And you can listen to our podcast right here on the FanStream Sports Tampa Bay Network. Back in 3. Stay with us. Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine & DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine & DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine & DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine & DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, jeeveslawgroup.com, and onsiteconstructionfl.com. They are our first hour presenters. We're coming to you live from the Kingmakers studio here in beautiful South Tampa, presented by Tampa Genesis, the newest dealership out there. All right, let's talk a little college football with our good friends. Great new college football podcast that you can find right here on the FanStream Sports Tampa Bay lineup, and it's two former assistant coaches in the state of Florida, USF, UCF. It's Pat and Shane Burnham. Welcome, guys. Been loving your podcast. Appreciate you all joining us. And the crowd goes wild. How are you?
What's going on, JP, man? We're doing good. We're trying to have fun. We're trying to get this podcast thing down, and it's been fun. We did our 9th episode, taped it about an hour ago. We're going to talk a little bit about Gus Malzahn. We talked with a guy from Auburn that writes for auburnsports.com. We talked to him a little bit about what Gus Malzahn is going to bring to Florida State and Herb Hand, and then broke down the 2025 Auburn Tigers. So we're going to obviously be Florida State. We'd be idiots not to talk about Florida State on a daily basis. We live in Tallahassee. Shane coached for 3 years for Mike. I've covered the program for 6 years. But we're trying to have fun with it, man. It's kind of we're going to talk a little bit about everything. We've had a USF segment. We've had a UCF show. We've had a Miami show. So we're covering the gamut. But, I know you want to talk to Shane a little bit.
Good. Well, let's get it. We'll get into that right now, as a matter of fact. Shane, how you doing? Your brother letting you talk at all?
He's always the big brother. Always the big brother, JP.
That's kind of the way that works, huh? Well, it's great to have you both. I've been loving the show. And let's dive right into it with some Florida State talk. I listened to Mike at the ACC kickoff, and I was glad to see him put a sentence together because he didn't do that very often last year. He just seemed really, really off his game, but he seems to be kind of back on his game. What are your thoughts on Norvell heading into this year after that disastrous 2-10 last year?
I'll jump in here. Here's what I think special about Mike, JP. If you go back to Jacksonville State, I'm going to take you back to 2021. It might have been the worst loss in the history of that program.
I remember it well.
Most people do. And the way it went down, it was just so shocking. So my first year on the staff as an analyst, grew up a coach's kid, been around it all my life. Called my dad on the way in that morning. I said, this will be a very interesting staff meeting to see how Coach Norvell handles this. And I called him on the way out of that staff meeting and said, he's the right guy. He has the shoulders for it. Really impressive in that moment through that season. And so fast forward now into 2-10.
If I can't stop you, what about that meeting told you he's the right guy?
Well, I think when you, again, in the football sense, that was so catastrophic for that program and the history of it. And that weight, when there's that big of a program, that many eyes, not just, in the building, even your players, a staff of 60 plus. Yeah. We're all looking to see how you're going to respond. I mean, you're the leader of the program, and how you respond tells us everything. So I've seen many men that I've worked with or who have relationships with who cower in that moment, shrink under that pressure. Right. And the fact that he stood tall in that moment, and beyond standing tall, he was convicted in what he was doing. He was convicted in how he was trying to build the program. And it's just really impressive. And whether you're wrong in your convictions or you're right, the fact that he was so convicted, JP, and he was so confident in the plan that he had put together, it was just really impressive. And again, I just think it shakes most people. It would shake most people to their core.
Absolutely. And completely analogous to this moment. Coming off a 2-10 is very similar in a macro way to losing to Jacksonville State. So, Pat, I'll throw it over to you. What have you seen and heard from Mike that tells you he's the man for this moment? Because, again, all eyes and a whole lot of money in this stadium renovation, fans paying a record amount for tickets in these premium areas. You want to talk about pressure. You can't do 2-10 again, even if the buyout's going to be still $50 million. He can't survive that. So going into this season, how do you think he reacts?
Well, listen, he addressed what he needed to address right away. Clearly, the players from last year's team were not responding to whatever was happening on the practice field, in the meeting rooms. So he did what you had to do. He got rid of half his staff, brought in 6 new full-time assistants. And listen, that had to be a hard move for him, JP and Shane, because those guys helped him win have a 10-3 season and a 13-1 season. And listen, we could get into all. We could get
13-0 on this program, Pat. I'm sorry.
I know.
We don't say 13-1. Just
but
on this program, you can do that on your program, but on this program, it will always be 13-0. Please continue.
So we're not. So let's start. Let's stop giving them credit for Division I AA wins. Then, all right. Let's. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? It was they were 13-1. But he pulled the trigger. I remember talking to. He pulled the trigger on the coaching staff.
Yep.
Listen, you saw some flaws on the offensive line long before the bottom fell out. I think he upgraded his staff, so he's taken the play calling off his own plate, giving it over to one of the brightest minds in college football seen in some time, in Gus Malzahn. I do think, and nothing against Alex Atkins, and I mean that sincerely, but Herb Hand's a upgrade at offensive line. He's a more experienced coach. His track record has got a proven track record, and it was clear on the defensive side of the ball that they had tuned that staff out. Yep. They were not paying attention to what Adam was saying. They were too talented to be that bad a football team, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. Now the offensive line was awful personnel wise last year. I don't care who would have been at quarterback, they were going to struggle, and we saw all three quarterbacks struggle. So then they attacked the portal. We'll see if they got it right this year. Everybody thinks they get it right every year in the portal. Right. They did obviously in 2022 and 2023, did not in 2024. The offensive line should be better because of what they did portal-wise and coaching-wise. But I think he addressed what needed to be addressed as quickly as he could after what was obviously an historically bad season for Florida State.
Yeah. Now, Shane, obviously you're not able to see practice, but you have your sources. So what have we learned
talked about this?
What have we learned, if anything, about what this team can do? Have you seen a scrimmage? I don't know. What are you allowed to see?
All right. I've seen nothing. My information, the only thing I hear about is from some of the players that I still communicate with, which in today's portal time, even those guys are fewer and fewer than you would think.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think Tony's defense, they're not going to be as good up front as they have been the last couple of years. In my opinion, from a personnel standpoint, they're not going to be as good. Breaking in really an entire new secondary outside of Shaheem Brown, so a lot of youth back there. But I think what Tony's going to do, JP, is going to play well. You got big, aggressive athletes at Florida State. You can always recruit there. They have one of the best classes coming off a 2-10 season, to drive that point home. So I think they'll play a lot more vision coverage on defense. I think you'll see a much more multiple package where they're going to be aggressive, really aggressive in how they attack people with blitzes and movement. So a 180 on the defensive side of the ball, but I think it allows, again, you get big, fast guys. Let's turn them loose and let them play. And then offensively, Gus just always, no matter where he's been, UCF, Auburn is the head coach before that, really unique with that offense. It's RPO based, quarterback run based. And I think it allows Mike to go and in today's portal era, you need to be able to manage your roster better than ever, more than ever. Right. I think that's a need for a head coach to be able to have freedom to do that. So I think those three things, hopefully Tony and that scheme, having Gus to run the offense and all the success he's had, frees Mike up to do what head coaches probably need to do more than ever.
All right, both of you, give me in 15 seconds a record for Florida State. Give me your prediction. Pat, we'll start with you.
7-5.
7-5. The over-under, I think, is 6.5. So you're going at least over than 7-5. All right. Shane?
I'm going to go 8-4. I just believe the roster is going to be better than all but 4 teams they play, in my opinion. So I'm going to trust the staff and say that there's a bad taste in their mouth. 8-4.
I think depth is going to be the issue at the end of the day. I think that's why they won't get to 8.
Depth, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, what's funny? I'm sitting there going, okay, that's all right. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not even close to all right at Florida State, but it's a step in the right direction.
What's interesting, we go 10-3, and I remember having this conversation with a former player. He grabs me after the bowl game. It might have been Oklahoma, I guess, in the Cheez-It Bowl. We're out in the parking lot or in the hotel afterwards, and he said, they realize this is the standard 10, right? So I said, yeah, I think they understand where they're coaching. But to your point, it is. It's a high bar here. So it's,
the resources and the money we put into it. 8 wins isn't good enough. But, hopefully you're building something. And speaking of building, there was the past recruiting class pretty good. And this one coming in, Pat, what do you think?
Well, I think they've done an excellent job, particularly coming off it. I think they closed well with this last class. When you flip Usman Kromah on the National Signing Day and Shamar Onu, they flipped them both that signing day morning. So they've shown the ability to recruit despite the bad taste in the mouth and the way it reflected on the program. And we had Charles Fishbein on our show Wednesday, and he thinks it's it's right now it's lining up to be Mike's first or second best class that he's had in going in year 6. So I think they're doing well. Listen, obviously, as we all know, sitting here on this show, what happens on the field this season is going to impact whether he's able to keep that class intact.
Yeah, absolutely. Kromah going to play this year? Uzma? What do you think?
Listen, I don't know, man. I mean, they're putting out videos of him. Everybody's going crazy over it. He's going to have a chance to play, but they brought in Sawchuk to be the starter from Oklahoma. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Gus does not have a track record of rotating like Mike and David Johnson do. But good. Yes, I think he's going to get a shot. They spent a lot of money on that kid.
It feels like a much bigger type of back than Mike has recruited to that system, and I think Gus prefers that size back.
All right, interesting. Gonna have fun with that. All right, let's skip over to USF, guys, which you both are very much in tune with, and clearly Alex Golish has him going in the right direction. 14 wins in the last couple of years, 2 bowl wins. The Hawaii win was absolutely incredible. Hawaii Bowl win. We had him on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he talks very much about, listen, we're not going to put a number on the wins or anything. That we're going to stick to our process, and it's all about process. And with the wins come, and I think that's the right way to look at it. I mean, so much of the media is saying, including myself, and I asked him this directly, like, okay, this is the year you got to win the conference, right? You got to win the conference. He's like, we'll see. And I think that's the right approach, right? How can they do it this year? Can they finally win a conference championship?
I think they can. Listen, you look at that schedule, it's brutal to start. You got Boise State at home, presumptive number 1 in the Mountain West. Then they're at Miami and at Florida, or at Florida and at Miami. So those 3 games. So, but when you look at it's American Conference, right? They changed the conference
American.
Name. It's just the American. All right. Yes. When you look at that American Conference schedule, if you take what the preseason polls, the media did, and put stock in them if you want, don't if you don't. But you've got Memphis and UTSA. They're the only 2 programs they play that are ranked higher than them in the American preseason media conference poll. They play Charlotte, Navy, UAB, North Texas, FAU, and Rice. They should win all of those 5 games, right? Those 6 games.
Yes.
So the key games to me are Memphis and UTSA. So the big thing to me is, coming out of September, out of that Florida, Miami, Boise State run, they play South Carolina State in the middle of those guys. How healthy are they? Have they gotten beat up? What kind of mindset do they have coming out of those games? Can they get it upset? If they don't, if it goes chalk and they lose those 3 games, they're going to be underdogs in all 3. How do they respond? And what are the optics of those games? And Shane will tell you, even in a loss, you can still build confidence depending on how you play. So I think how, if they can get Boise State and go into Miami and Florida with some confidence, but I think they've got a chance to win the American this year.
I think you look at the way they played Alabama probably the last couple of years as a indicator, Pat, of confidence through a loss. I think process driven is the way to go. Most of these kids, JP, can't see past Friday night. Just like you and I couldn't. So I think if you can try not to ride that roller coaster, especially with social media and the way that people can get to your kids now. I was with Alex for a year at UCF and Heupels last year. Extremely organized, extremely hardworking. I think he does a great job. You can out-recruit people still, what I mean is you can out-evaluate people. You can out-relationship people. That's still a thing. And I think Alex and he and I are really different people. And but I tell you, I have a lot of respect for how he does that. So, and I think USF has always been a great job because you have athletes. And when you go play those guys, there's speed on the edge, there's speed on defense. So I'm really excited for him because the quarterback's healthy. And when that kid's healthy, that offense is a bear, man. That's up tempo and they run the ball.
Is so good.
So I think the quarterback back, it'll be a fun year for those guys. I agree with Pat. It's, those UTSA, huge game for them in Memphis, obviously.
Listen, I can't. I don't think they've ever won a conference. I know we did in the 7 years I was there.
No,
there were several
they've
years
never won a conference.
We should have closed the deal, and we did not.
Yep.
And so, listen, I'm looking forward to it. I wish they'd get one. I really have a lot of appreciation for my time at USF and Tampa, and I've always been a fan. I've even got USF gear in the closet still. So I hope they get it, and I think they got a good shot.
Yeah, I was, as somebody posted yesterday, the highlights of the 2017 UCF USF game, which was which I was at. It was I think it's the only game I've ever been at the Bounce House, and it was one of the greatest football games I've ever seen in my life. And the finish was insane. And I wish we still, had that rivalry. Number one, it's got to return at some point. But it's a good segue to UCF and where they're going. Scott Frost is back there. Where they obviously he had that historic run. What is going on at UCF? Where do you see these guys? Shane, start.
Pat, I'll jump in. I thought, and I was not surprised, the transition to the Big 12, if you look at Houston when they came in, BYU, Cincinnati, and UCF, all four teams come in. I think there was one winning record in that group. SMU last year really surprised me as they transitioned, but they killed it in the portal. If you go back and get
and the ACC was down.
And so to me, that's where the biggest fall off was, right? The line of scrimmage, which is, again, no surprise. You got to build depth and you got to get bigger and stronger than you were able to recruit to probably in the group of five. So whether it's Sean Clark on the offensive line trying to fix that or Kenny up front on defense, they've got to get better there first. Then secondly, quarterback, when they've been good at UCF over the years, whether it's Dante, whether it's McKenzie, whether it's Dylan Gabriel, when they've had success at quarterback, I don't think they've had a lot of success the last couple of years with Gus. Mm-hmm. And with KZ coming back, it's fun to watch him coach and what he can get out of those kids. So I think the line of scrimmage has got to get fixed first, and they got to go find a quarterback.
Pat, your thoughts on UCF?
Yeah, listen, the breath of fresh air with Scott Frost being the head coach there. I think that's got the fan base excited because they all obviously remembered his last year, whether 13-1, something like that. They had a great season. They start off. Yeah, they undefeated. Okay, they start off.
Auburn in the Peach Bowl. That's right.
Yep. Yeah, should get Jacksonville State. Should get NCA&T to start the season off. Although we know about Jacksonville State here in Tallahassee. Yep. Just when you don't underestimate the Gamecocks, baby. So get off to a 2-0 start. Bring Bill Belichick into town at the Bounce House for Game 3, and then got Kansas State on the road in September. But listen, we talked to Adam Eaton from Sons of UCF last week, and I think the issue that we got right now is they don't know who the quarterback's going to be. It has not been decided. We talked a little bit about Adam about the challenges on the line of scrimmage for them and making the move to the Big 12. And so I got him right. I think a 500 season would be great for UCF in Scott's first year. If they get the bowl, great. But listen, you got Kansas State. They're going to be good. West Virginia will be better and tougher under Rich Rod. Houston's going to, they're making a move forward with their new head coach. And but towards you got Texas Tech making a move in every possible way.
Big time.
But yeah, so the schedule, I think, for his first year is going to be difficult. An improving Baylor, solid BYU team. I think 6-6 would be great for UCF this year.
I'll say this: you couldn't have come into the Big 12, in my opinion, at a worse time for UCF. What I mean is, I think had they come in a couple years prior, where they're getting, obviously the full share is not there with the conference payout, and then everybody weaponizing their NIL when UCF's still a young program trying to play catch up. So I wish they could either got into a conference a couple years ahead of time where they'd have a full share to work with, or, if it happened after the fact. But they're behind the 8 ball right now from that point of view.
We're doing previews around the state of Florida with the Burnham brothers. That's Pat on my left or right. I don't know, depending on how you're watching this. That's Pat. That's Shane. Both assistant coaches, longtime assistant coaches and players in college football. It's a great new show. And they know Florida football better than anybody. So let's transition to the Florida Gators. An unbelievable murderer's row schedule again. 2 years in a row, the toughest schedule in the nation. And I thought Napier, and I was one of the few that was telling these Gator fans that wanted him out. I said, give the guy time, give him some time. And I think he proved me right at the end of the season. I thought they played some incredibly inspired football down the stretch. And I expect them to be a very good team this year. They win 7-8 games, it's going to be a very, very good year for him. But I still feel like Florida fans don't think that's enough. But I think the talent is there. Let's start with you, Shane, on Florida. It starts with DJ Lagway actually being healthy.
Yeah, huge, right? And I know everybody's worried about that, whether it's the ankle, the shoulder, whatever it's been. Huge for that program, special athlete. And I think Billy does not get enough credit, JP, to me, and the way that he runs that, not only the program, the offense. You go back, Graham Mertz, that kid was a really good football player who got hurt, and I think Graham will end up playing in the NFL. I really do. I think he'll come back and have a career, but how DJ goes is how they go. I don't think there's many people who probably, in my opinion, do a much better job on offense than Billy. They're different. They're under center. They turn their back, and it's play action. They're in the gun. They're in these condensed sets like the Rams. He just does a really good job with motion. So I think with the quarterback healthy this year, because, again, they were DJ last year and Graham Mertz with what he happened, I think got a chance. The skill, Eugene, some of the guys they have at the skill, they're always going to have good skill. He's done a good job recruiting there at tailback and out wide. And then defensively, I think they're better. They're improving. Still weren't there last year, but they got better. And it was definitely a sea change from 2023 and how they played on defense when it couldn't get any worse. So trending in the right direction, but man, what a tough schedule.
Pat, your thoughts on the Gators?
Well, I was with you, JP, last year. We had a lot of talk in Tallahassee about, hey, he's going to get fired in the middle of the year. He'll never see out the year. And I told our guys, you're wrong. He's a good football coach. He'll figure out a way to get it done, and that's what he did. Listen, the head coach at Florida is going to be under constant pressure, just like most of these head coaches. Is he going to live up to expectations this year? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know what the expectations are. I know all fan bases want to go undefeated in the era of super conferences. That's going to become less and less likely, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think the SEC has been as wide open. I think it's more wide open this year than it has before. We talked about this earlier. I think any one of 6 or 7 teams could win the SEC. Now, I do like Billy Napier. I don't know why people do not like Billy Napier. He seems like a good guy. I'm not going to dislike him just because he's coaches at Florida, right? He is a little bit different. Shane talked about what he does offensively. But this is a team that if they went 10-2, it wouldn't surprise me. And with this schedule, if they went 6-6, it wouldn't surprise me. I think it's going to turn. I mean, when you play the schedule that these guys are playing, they got Miami on the schedule again this year, and what we think is an improving USF team. And, so they've got some challenges. The week in and week out of this league is hard. I don't care what you say. I don't care who you are. Yeah. Shane and I have talked about it. That SEC schedule year in and year out is hard. Now, it's deeper from year. Maybe the league's deeper one year than it is the next. But listen, Lagway's a special talent. They always have guys on defense at Florida, right? I think they're getting a lot of preseason adulation. A lot of people think they're a college football playoff team. How does this team handle those expectations? But I anywhere from 6-6 to 10-2, would not surprise me with Florida. And
I always think it's still one of the toughest home for a visitor. Home
brutal to play there.
So
it's a great home field advantage. You and I talked about that a long time. We weren't doing a show or anything. We were just talking about recruiting. Shane was at Florida State, and I said to him, I'd gone to Florida to cover a game. And I was like, when you walk into that stadium, and it's crazy. I mean, the fans are right on top of you. It's always wild. It is one of the better home field advantages in college football, I think.
All right, real quick, let's finish up with Miami. Obviously, they've got a new quarterback in Carson Beck. I was watching Cam Ward yesterday in a Titans uniform. Damn, he's even better than I thought he was. So losing him is a big, big hit. Carson Beck, I'm not sure how you guys feel about him. I just think he's kind of average. But they've got a really good offensive line. To me, they're a lot like some other programs I know. It's the head coach that really, I think, holds them back in a lot of ways, their coaching staff and Cristobal. Where do you think Miami is at this point? Shane, we'll start with you. Sorry.
I think they've done the best job in the ACC since when I was there from 21 to now, recruiting the line of scrimmage for whatever year Mario is in now. They have done the best job recruiting and developing both offensive line and defensive line. I think they're back. They're stacked this year. They've got, the majority of their pieces back on both sides of the ball. They took a transfer named David Blay from Louisiana Tech, who many people don't know about, but I think he is just going to be a disruptive force inside and one of the best tackles in the portal. So the rich got richer. The quarterback, we prepared for Carson when I was at Florida State, if I remember correctly, for the Orange Bowl in 23. We watched him, had 12 games of tape. I think he's sneaky athletic. Obviously he was surrounded by a great cast there. I don't know exactly what happened at UGA last year, but I think he's sneaky athletic, and he's played so much football that always benefits you, as you might have seen here at Florida State last year at that position. But I do like the fact that he's comes out of that program with those snaps. So I think they're going to be really good again. And just like we talked about skill, always got good skill there, right? I mean, you tell me a team at Miami that can't run on the edges or on defense, I think it's going to be Mario's best team.
Okay. Pat, what do you got?
Listen, I'm not as optimistic as Shane is. They start off with Notre Dame, and they got Florida in the first month. Now, obviously, none of those are conference games, so it doesn't do anything from an ACC standpoint.
Both at home, right?
Both at home. That's right. They got they only play 4 road games. They got 8 in Miami. So the schedule works in their favor. Listen, they've done Shane said they've done a great job building the offensive line, defensive line. I think that's where their strengths are. They've got multiple draft picks on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Was Carson Beck one of the reasons Georgia was so successful, or was Carson Beck successful because University of Georgia was so good? We'll get that answered for you, JP. Now, listen, they lost 5 of their top. They lost their 5 top receivers from last year. What will the passing game look like? Are those guys dependable? Sure, they found guys with speed, and you got Josiah Trader and guys like that they signed that are still with the program. I'm not sure they're going to be as good as they were last year.
Okay. All right, guys, great stuff. And we can listen to your podcast, and you can find it at FanStream Sports Tampa Bay on YouTube. Tell us where else we can find it and when you guys drop your podcast.
Yeah, we're going to drop our new one at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and we brought in Justin Hokanson from auburnsports.com to talk Gus Malzahn and then look at the Auburn Tigers for 2025. But you can find us at the Burnham Brothers College Football Channel on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter. All our shows are shown on Twitter, and mine is at PatB5153. So you can watch us there. Then obviously on my Facebook page at Patrick Burnham.
All right, guys, great stuff. I really appreciate you jumping on. We'll be talking to you all year long. Incredible information and a really fun show. So go check them out at all those places. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, JP. Appreciate it, bud.
Thanks,
JP. That's you know what we didn't talk about there? We didn't talk about NIL. We didn't talk about business. We just talked ball.
That's a lot of content right there, too.
Those guys are so good. They know
that's a lot of content.
Every player, every team, really, really. And we're going to have them on from time to time during the season as well. So, but go check them out. The Burnham Brothers CFP College Football Podcast. Really, really good stuff, as you can see. All right, We'll take a break. We'll come back a little bit later on. Tito Didoff's going to join us to do some fantasy football. So get your fantasy football questions in if you have some. Where you're drafting, if you need some help there, we'll do that for you. We are brought to you by Riveters. They are the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. They also do a catering, by the way. So if you have an event, they can cater it with their great food. Their wings are amazing. The prime rib steak sandwich, the prime rib tacos, and the happy hour is good as any. 3 to 7 every day. $3 domestics, $5 wells, and all the great food as well at a discount at Riveters. Right there, it's just south of the Stein and Raymond James Stadium. So if you're heading over to see the Bucs play, stop by Riveters and tell them JP sent you. Back in 3. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Hey, JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. You know I'm always trying to find ways to save you money or make you money. Well, here's a great idea from Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source. Gold is at an all-time high, so if you bring in your old jewelry, Steve and Julie will buy it off you and offer you the highest trade-in values of the year. It's the perfect time to upgrade what you're not wearing into something you'll never want to take off. So take advantage of that right now. The custom engagement rings to birthstones, tennis bracelets, diamond studs, whatever's on your wish list, the Gold and Diamond Source can make it happen. And did you know they also have the largest selection of any men's jewelry in the area? A great new section there. Check that out. They have free services like free settings, free cleanings, free appraisals, all that stuff right there at the Gold and Diamond Source. Family owned and trusted for over 40 years. Great folks over there. We love promoting these great local companies. None better than the Gold and Diamond Source. 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Summer is coming. Do not get caught with your unit unprepared. Your AC unit, of course. The awesome folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC have a special going on right now. You get a free 1-year maintenance package with any purchase of a new unit. They have special 60-month financing as well, so you don't need a huge chunk up front. Third Generation has an impeccable reputation built over 30 years of doing business. They do plumbing, AC, mechanical work, anything you need around the house. They are trusted folks. Go to the website and read the 5-star reviews. Deidre said, great company that always arrives timely. We have used them for our AC both at home and business and have been very happy. The staff is knowledgeable and professional. I would recommend Third Generation again and again. So give Third Generation a call at 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Third Generation Plumbing and American Standard. The record heat of Tampa Bay means you better have your AC unit running at peak efficiency. Third Generation Plumbing installs the best American Standard AC units. Their split systems offer the highest efficiency available while reducing energy bills and maximizing comfort. That's why Third Generation Plumbing trusts American Standard air conditioning, built to last and made to perform. So if you want to get a new AC or need a new AC, call Third Generation at 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com and tell them JP sent you. All right, partner. Let me get to some of the great comments coming in today.
Yes. Been waiting on this.
Yeah, I know. Got to get to you guys. The Petermans are here. Good morning to you, Nathan Elliott, my man. Yo, he's in good form today.
He is.
Hyping us up at practice the other day. Got to love that. Have our hype guy running around. Wes O'Connor, what's up, guys? Finally catching a live show. What's up, Wes?
All right. Thanks, Wes.
Love you, brother. Good to have you. What do you think? Give us a Google review. Douglas Batista, good morning to you. Says hello, Petermans, JP and Tim. Good morning to you. But what else do we have here? Tim's Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl.
All right. First of all, Christopher Cole, they are not my Cowboys. They're Jerry Jones' Cowboys. I'm not responsible for that fiasco over there at the Star.
How about them Cowboys?
I mean, I'd like to see it, but look, I know it ain't happening.
Yeah, but you know,
I'm a realistic Cowboy fan.
Micah Parsons with you.
What about him?
What the hell's going on there?
I hope to God he's not in Dallas next year. That's what I'm saying.
Why is that?
I would love to see him gone. A couple of different reasons. Talked about it on my Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz too a few days ago. If you guys want to check that out to get the complete story, but just not a fan, man. I mean, I know it's the same thing for me as it is with Luka when the Mavs traded Luka. All right, I did not think he was good for the team, and in light of recent events in Los Angeles, I was probably right. Micah's a great player. He's a generational talent. I don't want to play a freaking linebacker $45 million a year, first of all, for anybody.
It's a lot of money, even with the salary cap going up.
And he is not the most popular guy in the locker room. A lot of teammates don't like his attitude. They don't like how he shoots his mouth off on podcasts. And he's just, there have been players. I have heard there have been players that have gone to Mike McCarthy last year when he was here, asking him to please do something about Micah Parsons.
And that's the deal. Listen, I get the going rate for a incredible pass rusher is $40 million. I get that. But if I'm going to pay you that, you better be everything on and off the field. And he's not.
No.
He's not that guy. So, yeah, I very much if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I'm seeing what I can get from Micah Parsons.
And I just checked this morning with a couple of people I know that would know. They've gotten 0 calls on Micah Parsons.
Really?
0 calls. So, and to me, that's not surprising.
Well, he's a really good player, but he is injured, and he's a little bit, look at Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is a monster. Look at TJ Watt. He's a monster. These guys are a lot bigger than Micah Parsons, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? Yeah. How big is Micah? 6'2", 245?
Maybe. Yeah. I'll find out what the official is here, but this is going to be exaggerated for sure. 6'3", 247 is what it says. So I bet you he's 6'1.5", 6'2", probably 240.
Yeah.
235, 240.
Yeah. But he's not, he's not that guy that's going to be.
He's not a monster.
Imposing in the run game where you cannot run at him and he's coming off the edge. I mean, he's not that guy. And that means you're not worth $45 million.
Yeah.
And with all the other BS, you're not worth that either. So that, it really puts Jerry in a tough position because if he can't trade him and get any value for him. And you certainly don't want to pay him lock up that much money.
Yep.
And I think a lot of fans, they're fans and they want their stars. Yeah. And the Cowboys have typically overpaid their stars just to keep them there because that's part of the star, And so I think he probably will end up paying him, and it's going to be a bad move, just like Dak's contract was a bad move. Sorry, John Ramos, my golfing partner, father-in-law.
Huge,
really bad move. It's too much. It's too much. But you get, especially when you got a quarterback like that, when it's the going rate, and you don't have a backup or another answer, and you're the Dallas Cowboys. And you've got to have stars. You've got to have the illusion that you're going to be competitive. Now, I think that illusion is kind of waned, TBH, but he's kind of stuck there. As long as you can put stars on the field, and the Lakers have always been this way, the Knicks have always been this. You got to have a few stars, even if you're not going to be super competitive with those stars. You got to have them to sell those tickets to justify the $1 billion luxury boxes, which, maybe it keeps you in a spiral of mediocrity because you don't want to be in the middle. You want to be either really bad and rebuilding or really good. and the Cowboys have been in the middle for far too long.
No, and the trade, I guess, candidates for Micah Parsons that the Cowboys would agree to make a move to are going to be very limited. I guarantee you he will not trade Micah Parsons to an NFC team. That just simply will not happen, much less an NFC East team.
Yeah,
people have thrown out the Giants. Oh, go reunite him with Abdul Carter. Well, that ain't happening in the division. The Rams were a team. He ain't going to an NFC team. It's going to have to be an AFC team. People have talked about, speculation about the Browns. I'd love to see him be a Brown. At least he wouldn't be here. Put him opposite Myles Garrett. I just like that defensive line.
Oof. What if it was an AFC or an NFC team like the Falcons? The Falcons have been rumored to be very interested in Micah Parsons, although, again,
I don't think Jerry would do
it. Interesting.
Unless it's 3 first rounds.
Well, that's your problem.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's and the going comp that we got was the old Khalil Mack trade in 2018 from the Chargers to the Bears. Yeah. And you're talking 2 first-round picks, a 3rd, a 5th.
Parsons
and that was
not that guy.
That was back before teams really like to trade their first-round picks. That was kind of the first move where teams were giving up multiple first-round picks, And now everybody does it every year. Let me look at what the Rams did. They didn't have a first-round pick for like 7 years.
F the picks.
So
you want a Super Bowl?
I don't want to see him here anymore. I'm done with him. It's old news to me, but I think I think Jerry it will come down to it. Jerry will sign him, and
I agree. And it'll be a big mistake. Big mistake. Daniel Rivera says, happy birthday to Dwayne Stats. Absolutely one of the nicest guys in the business. We got to get Dwayne on the show. Really good dude. Love his work. I can't say this enough. I miss him when he's not in the booth. Nothing against Andy Freed, who is a tremendous radio guy. I don't like moving Andy to television and taking him off the radio. I think he's a tremendous radio guy, and I think Dwayne is an incredible TV guy. But I just don't think Andy's I don't think he's made for TV. And I don't mean that in a slight at all. I think he's a tremendous radio broadcaster.
Does he have a face made for radio like us?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just I just think he's been coached up wrong on TV. Yeah. I would rather because what happens when radio guys come to TV, the TV coaches say, well, don't call it like people can see the action. You don't have to call it that way. And I kind of disagree with that. So yeah.
Because then it doesn't sound natural. If that's how the guy's used to doing it, it won't sound natural and it'll sound bad. Yeah.
So I don't want to say he's not good at TV. I want to say he's amazing at radio. He's amazing at radio. And Dwayne is fantastic at TV. And it's something, I thought Hollenberg did a really solid job doing play-by-play when he did it and filling in for Dwayne. So maybe that's the way they should go. Just my thoughts. Douglas Batista says, the problem I have with Sternberg and the team's business brass, not baseball ops, is that they take no responsibility for their failures. He blames fans, politicians, rather than looking in the mirror. 100% right, Douglas. 100% right. And that's what this Times piece is all about. The overall tone of this Times piece is, oh, I won. We were so inventive. We were geniuses. And the people of St. Petersburg never showed up to kiss my ring. That's what it sounds like to me. And nothing could be further from the truth.
Yeah.
There's so many more layers to it than that. Although I think this is a very nicely done piece, it just doesn't get into the dark side of what happened here. So, but it's definitely worth reading. And I didn't know this. There's a site where you can go to paywallremover.com, I think it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did not know about that. Now I know. And thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
One of my nemesis on Twitter actually told me about that. I was like, oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Billy Jones, Titans are going to be better than people think. Are they? Watching them, I'm like, they are better than I thought they were. But their offensive line is really bad. and their defensive line is not great either. So they're struggling in the trenches. I think they got some pretty good skill players, and Cam Ward's a dog. He's really, really good. But I think they're miles away from competing up front, and you can't do that in the NFL. Christopher Cole said if the Cubs don't re-sign Tucker, they're going to lose a lot of fans. Why would they not re-sign Kyle Tucker? My God, you guys Wrigley Field is packed every day. You're selling so many Goose Island $20 beers. You're swimming in money. Ratings are through the roof. Come on, Cubs.
He's going to be a top 3 free agent on the market, though, and that's going to get expensive. Not that they can't afford it. Will they want to afford it is the question.
They can afford it.
Oh, I know they can, but will they pay it?
Well, if they don't, then
I agree with you. I'm just trying to throw out there they're the Cubs.
I agree, and they haven't had a history of that. But I do think one of the big things is here that you see Soto get the 10-year deal. And I'm sure Jason Romano, his agent, who friend of the show, comes on, they're going to try to get a 10-year deal. Or maybe he doesn't want a 10-year deal. Maybe he wants a 4-year deal or a 6-year deal so he can play the final years in the new stadium in Tampa, which I know he wants to do. So for the Cubs, would you go 5 years, $45 million? 5 years, $50 million? I mean, what's the going rate for Kyle Tucker? And I think we have to kind of just throw the Soto contract out. I mean, Jason will kill me for saying that. Right. It's just so out of the mainstream. It's so out of the mainstream. But Shohei got, 55, 60? But he's pitcher too. He's a pitcher too. So that kind of makes the market a little weird. So 5 years, $250 million. Then he can sign with the Rays in 2030. Our new ballpark. How old will he? He'll be 33 at that time. 33, 34. Yeah. Maybe not in his prime, but still a damn good ball player. And he's still keeping himself in great shape.
And a draw for the fans, right?
What are we doing here if you're Chicago? I mean, he has, paved the way to a pretty damn good season. I haven't checked their record lately, but I mean, they're going to the playoffs, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. If I'm the Cubs, I don't know what you're waiting for. I mean, he's a fan favorite. The fans love him. You want to root for him. He hustles his ass off. He steals bases, power, speed, plays great right field. I mean, he's a much better player than Soto is, in my opinion. A much better player.
Yeah.
Because he's plus defensively, and Soto's not good defensively.
Liability, yeah.
And Kyle's a better hitter. Really?
Yeah, Cubs are second place in the Central, 4 games in back of the Brewers. They're at 66 and 48.
Yeah, so they're going to the playoffs, and I think he'll probably have a great playoffs. So, yeah, pay the man, Cubs. What the hell are you doing? Cody says Randy Arozarena has 23 home runs, 21 stolen bases so far this year. The Rays could use that and a fan favorite. Yeah, they sure could. But, he and Yandy didn't get along. And we love Yandy. So maybe it just didn't work here. Problem was, what did you get for Arozarena? I think we'll go back and revisit that trade, but not much. SMU is a national championship team, says your buddy More Right Rudder.
Are
they that good?
I don't know about that.
They made the playoff last year.
Sure did. Almost won the ACC.
And Jennings, their quarterback's coming back, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Carson Beck could be the most overrated player in college football, More Right Rudder says. Hard to disagree.
I think there are more overrated players, but I don't think you're far off.
No, I think what you should have said is overpaid.
By the way, JP. Well,
He's
yeah,
overpaid.
that's true.
What did he
By
get,
the way,
$6 million
JP,
from Miami?
Mr. What's wrong with Arch Manning?
Yeah.
Why can't he win the job at Texas? You heard the latest, right?
Yeah, he's staying.
He's staying past.
Like I said, he would
through 2026.
Like I said, he would. He's not going to be the first pick in the draft next year. You knuckleheads.
Nope. It'll be 2027.
Yeah, but but what did I get wrong? I said he was going to stay.
Yeah,
and he should stay. What did we talk about before? We talked about this? Quarterbacks. Drew Brees was on Dan Patrick today, and he asked about what's the best way to evaluate young quarterbacks. He said, look at how many starts they had in college first and foremost.
Yep.
And you saw Anthony Richardson still has no feel for the game, just absolutely get train wrecked last night because he didn't see a blitzer coming.
Yeah, we just talked about it in the first segment, right? It's exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah. So
you need that experience. I don't care if your name is Manning, you still need the experience.
Yeah. And he's
Eli and Peyton got all the experience.
4 or 5 games at this point. So he'll start probably 14 or 15 this year. And then he'll get 14 or 15 his next year. And then he'll be ready for the pros. Because the Mannings know that.
Yep.
And that was always the plan with Arch. They're in no hurry. Learn the system.
That's why they didn't mind him sitting behind Quinn Ewers
exactly
at all. They did not mind.
Exactly. But was he better? And that's the whole thing. We still don't know how good Arch Manning is. Mm-mm. We don't. And until he plays a lot of games, we won't know how fast he processes things. Just because he has a name Manning doesn't mean he's going to be a great quarterback.
No, but I can guarantee one thing. Arch Manning will be better at the end of 2026 than he is at the beginning of 2025.
Goddamn right.
He will be that much better, and it will help him tremendously. Yeah, in the NFL for sure. Wherever
Absolutely.
He probably still be Cleveland because they'll probably still have the first pick in the NFL draft.
So Shedeur starting tonight doesn't mean anything anyway because their long-term answer is still in college. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. He ain't on the roster yet.
Paul M says Chris Adams' wall would be great for TV. I've listened to him on radio. I think he does a nice job. I don't know how he'd be on TV. Rich is a seasoned TV guy. So I think if we got to go, if somebody replaces him, it should be Rich. And then you keep Andy. You weaken 2 positions when you move Andy to TV. It's like taking the right tackle and moving him to left tackle. Yeah. Unless it's Tristan Wirfs, it ain't working. It's like moving Gedeke to left guard. No good. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Tito is ready, going to do us a little fantasy football. Get your fantasy football questions ready. I got lots of questions for Tito.
I do too. Well, I got one big one.
Excuse me?
I got one big one for Tito.
All righty then. All right. We'll get to the Green Dildo story later. All right. We are brought to you by the great folks at OnSiteConstructionFL.com. Folks, we tell you this all the time. Don't wait for the hurricane to come and say, oh, I need a contractor now to fix my house. OnSiteConstructionFL.com. You can meet with the owner, Jason Fawcett, okay? He will come to your house. You can talk to him. You can go to the website, look at all the 5-star reviews. You can get a good feel for who they are and what they do. He comes to your house and says, this is what we could do here. If you want to add on something or restore something or do something different, they'll do anything in construction that you need to do. OnSiteConstructionFL.com. Tremendous at what they do, on time, on budget, and great people. So get on the preferred client list. So if the hurricane hits, you'll be at the top of the list. That's OnSiteConstructionFL.com. Back in 3. JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park. So free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Hey, JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. And you know I'm always trying to find ways to save you money or make you money. Well, here's a great idea from Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source. Gold is at an all-time high, so if you bring in your old jewelry, Steve and Julie will buy it off you and offer you the highest trade-in values of the year. It's the perfect time to upgrade what you're not wearing into something you'll never want to take off. So take advantage of that right now. The custom engagement rings to birthstones, tennis bracelets, diamond studs, whatever's on your wish list, the Gold and Diamond Source can make it happen. And did you know they also have the largest selection of any men's jewelry in the area? A great new section there. Check that out. They have free services like free settings, free cleanings, free appraisals, all that stuff right there at the Gold and Diamond Source. Family owned and trusted for over 40 years. Great folks over there. We love promoting these great local companies. None better than the Gold and Diamond Source. 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Are you looking for an honest AC and plumbing company? I mean, that's like trying to find a humble Saints fan, right? Well, try my friends at Third Generation AC and Plumbing Services. Been in business since 1995 here locally. And listen to what one of their customers said. Quote, the gentleman providing the service was exceptional, on time, knowledgeable, professional, and experienced. He was efficient, cleaned up behind himself, and did the work expeditiously. He not only repaired a sink, he repaired our toilet that was constantly running. We have used this company several times. They are awesome. Says it all, folks. Testimonials really say it all. Call 813-961-8024 for honest, fast service. 813-961-8024 or thirdgenerationplumbing.com. We also do AC.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. Hey, folks, if you're looking to get engaged, there's no better place than the Gold and Diamond Source. It is the best selection, the best prices, great local company. They have a bridal salon in there. They bring you in, get you a drink, whether you want a glass of wine, a beer, a little water, whatever it is you're drinking. And then they'll show you everything that they have there. And they're not going to try to pressure you into something you don't want to get. Tell them what your budget is, and they'll find you something great. Low pressure, great service. And they can do anything there. They'll fix your jewelry. They'll pay the highest for gold, which is super high right now. So bring your old gold jewelry in. Everything you can do there at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, and always online at goldendiamond.com.
I got $28 I can spend on my new sort of lady.
Don't you have any old gold jewelry?
Hell no. I never wore gold jewelry.
What about that belly ring you used to have? Take the lint out of it and bring it
silver. In. And actually, it's probably still down there. It's just lost somewhere. I probably need to dig that out. Might be worth something.
That is disgusting. And with that, let's bring it.
Speaking of digging things out,
Jeff did off.
You guys never cease to amaze me. You never do. You always bring me in at the great point like that.
the visual just wow.
I need a new PR person.
How you doing, brother?
How you doing, man? It's been a hot minute.
It has been a hot minute. It's been a hot freaking summer is what it's been. My
You're
Lord.
not doing anything up there in Columbus.
What's that?
You're not doing anything up there in Columbus with your
nothing. I'm not busy at all. Nothing going on.
That morning juice and trying to wrangle in Bobby Carpenter every morning. That doesn't do anything for you, does it?
Hey, listen, it's a 2-hour show, but it's a full-time job. Let's put it that way.
Man, I know the feeling. I do a show with Gerb.
Oh God, yes.
I do a show with Tim Ham. You want to talk about, the 2 shots of Jaeger every day. Thank God I don't have to do that myself. All right, my friend. Fantasy football is here. People are doing their drafts. Here's your first question. So, of course, I finished second last year in my league. Finally beat John Smoltz in my division because I had a stacked freaking team. So I can keep one guy.
Okay.
And I have Saquon Barkley, Jamar Chase. I guess those are the only 2 that I would actually put in that category because that eats up your first round pick. So
okay. Is that a penalty? Is it a first round? Do you have to give up the pick the round you got him in?
Yeah. So he'll be your first pick of the draft.
Okay.
Whoever you keep. So Saquon, and then so it's 12-team league. You don't know where you're picking. It's a blind. We'll figure that you don't know where you're going to pick. Okay. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep Saquon. Right? That's a good bet. Or Jamar Chase.
It's a PPR league, right?
Half a point.
Half-point PPR. Quarterbacks, 4-point passing touchdown. All that still that's a standard thing there. Okay.
Standard. And I have Baker Mayfield, but I'm not keeping. And I have Jaden Daniels. I also have Jaden Daniels. So I forgot about
my only concern with Barkley is, and I'm just looking at history with running backs. He had 482 touches last year.
Jesus.
That is James Wilder. No one will get that but you and I, JP. But that is James Wilder level touches. Okay.
His name was Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
I know you. Hey, James Wilder 1 year in one season there, Tim. He was the only ball carrier for Tampa for like 96 consecutive play. Like the 96 consecutive rushes they had were James Wilder. Nobody else. Wilder, they ran him into the ground.
Yeah, I remember James.
Okay, so that's my concern with Barkley. Because guys with that many carries, and I'm not saying Barkley can't buck the trend, but that many touches and also playing that late into the season, where he's playing to the middle of February, And so we've seen guys like Larry Johnson fell off after that kind of a season. Jamal Anderson, the Falcons, fell off after that kind of a season. And so that's what concerns me about that. In a half-point PPR, I'm probably keeping Chase over Barkley in this one. And that's my biggest fear with Barkley. Last year, and I did about 75 drafts last year for Fantasy Draft Proxies and also my own. And I dreaded having to be forced into Christian McCaffrey. I rarely took him because I was worried about his injury history. And that's why we're about Saquon here this year as well. Like I'm worried about the fact that all those touches, damn near 500 touches is a lot of touches. And he's a big guy. I get it and all that. But I think in that situation, I'm taking Jamar Chase.
Also it's, the human nature thing. You win the Super Bowl, you're on top of the world, all that. Right. It's just, it's just human nature that you're just not going to have the hunger that you've had the year before. And he was hungry last year. He had a point to prove, obviously. Yeah. And I just don't, I would agree with you. That whole thing's not going to be there this year.
There's a couple things, JP, when you look at it, like both Saquon Barkley and even Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had 386 touches last year. And he's on the wrong side as far as age goes. Both those guys, if they put up tremendous numbers again, that is really bucking the trend. Mm-hmm. Only guys who have really been able to do that have been like Walter Payton did it, to have a ton of touches and then come back next year and still be effective. I think Emmitt Smith did it. Mm-hmm. Adrian Peterson's done it. But by and large, though, once guys hit that wall and have that kind of a season with that much volume, they really struggle to come back. So it'll be interesting to see how those two guys play. Whereas last year, too, by the way, Christian McCaffrey was the most polarizing player because if you used the first round pick on him, you got burned. If you had the first couple picks draft, you took him, And now,
and you can't recover from that.
You can't. And so now, but like in this year, if I'm drafting and he's like available at 7, 8, 9, I might jump on him and take the chance with him this year, which is probably stupid. But he again will be the guy though. Like those three guys, Barkley, and McCaffrey, and Derrick Henry. Those will be the guys that if you take them, there's a risk involved, a huge reward, but a huge risk.
I would agree with that. 100%. And you don't consider a quarterback in the first round, no matter, even if it's Jaden Daniels.
No, not because if it's a 6-point or a super flex league. Now in the super flex league, you start 2 quarterbacks and a 6-point passing touchdown. If you're a super flex league and 6-point passing touchdowns, yes, I'm taking a quarterback there. Absolutely. But quarterback's my first 2 picks in those kind of leagues. In whatever draft I'm doing, I'm going to protect quarterback in your situation, draft quarterback first also. But you want to get 2 quarterbacks right away and then pick up stuff later because of how many, no running back's going to rush for 48 touchdowns, but there could be a quarterback that throws for 45. And that's the difference. And so that if it's a super flex league, and that's why knowing your rules, and I benefited a great deal last year, all the drafts I did with other people, where people didn't pay close of attention to what the scoring was. And in a 4-point league, you see guys taking quarterbacks early, which is a mistake. Yeah. In a 6-point league, you see guys wait on quarterbacks. They think, oh my gosh, I can't believe this guy's here. This running back is still available when they should be taking quarterbacks. So make sure you know all of your rules. But yeah, super flex league, 6-point passing touchdown, you're taking quarterbacks.
And half-point PPR, does that compel you to go running back first and second? My feeling has always been in drafting in our league is I'm loading up on running backs and wide receivers in the first 3, even 4 rounds. I'm not going any other, even if it's a tight end on the board, even if it's a great quarterback, I'm not touching them. It's just running back and wide receiver, correct?
That's what you're doing early on, yes. And I waited on quarterback. I'm in a lot of drafts I do. I'm usually one of the last people to take a quarterback in a 4-point passing touchdown league, just because there's not that great of a difference.
The number 12 guy is not compared to the number 1 guy. There's not a huge difference.
Right. And what I'll usually do is I will take, like, when I take my first quarterback, I'll take the second one shortly thereafter if I need to, kind of thing. But it's just because I'll take 2 guys that are B's versus an A and a C or an A and a D kind of thing. But I'm usually waiting on quarterbacks, though, in a standard scoring as far outside of PPR, half point, whatever, half point PPR. But as long as passing touchdowns are 4 points, I'm usually waiting quite a while on my quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. Timmy?
So explain, maybe, I don't know if you've heard this or not. This is a trend apparently in fantasy football that I have just become aware of because I don't really play anymore. But apparently there is a strategy now where you just completely skip the running back position altogether and you don't even draft one. This, of course, stems from very few teams have a dedicated number 1 running back. It's usually running back by committee now.
Right.
Is this a strategy that you could pull off in pretty much any league, or are there supposed to be specialized leagues where you don't have to pick a running back in your roster?
Well, no. I don't know if anybody ever goes the whole draft. I'll take one. But it's called the 0 running back theory, where people will load up on wide receivers and quarterbacks and take their tight ends and then pick or whatever. They'll pick the running backs much later. Whereas like what JP is talking about, like I like getting a running back in the first few rounds at the early, like at the most I have one running, or at the least I'd have one running back after 3 or 4 rounds. This is like waiting to like the 6th or 7th round to take your running back. And it's a big crapshoot because you're going to miss out on all the number 1 running backs. And what you're hoping to do in a lot of these cases is you're banking on an injury somewhere, or you're banking on a rookie running back who not a lot of people love that you're going to catch lightning in a bottle with. And it's tough to do. I normally don't subscribe to the 0 running back theory. And, I like to balance my team out a little more. Like, the situation I'm talking about with JP's team where like it's either, Saquon or Jamar Chase. I would keep Jamar Chase and then still try to get a couple of running backs early on. And then load up on wide receivers, like they wait for quarterbacks after that. But yeah, the 0 running back, some people try to pull that off. I'm not a big fan of it. It is something that's grown in popularity, though. It's something else I've seen. And JP, I wanted to throw this at you that I saw. There was a league I saw that they start your standard scoring and all of that, right? So you've got your standard scoring league, you draft. But you don't get points for your player if that guy's team loses.
What?
So If you have let's say you have Jamar Chase and he gets 10 catches for 135 yards and 2 touchdowns, but the Bengals lose, it's a 0 for you. It's interesting. I'm not going to do a league like that. But what that does, though, is then you'll see people drafting like the number 2 running back for the Chiefs, maybe. Yeah. As opposed to the number 1 running back, as opposed to Jonathan Taylor for the Colts. Just because you'll get guaranteed points every week versus if you go to a crappy team, in New Orleans with Alvin Kamara. You might not want him because they might go 4-13 this year, and you only get points in 4 games in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and see, with our league, that's when there's enough. So there's only how many running backs are there that are worth a first-round pick, in your opinion?
There's probably 5.
Okay, so
maybe 4.
Who are they? So Saquon is one of them, but we've talked about
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry's another one.
Henry and Saquon, I take, like I say, I really don't want to take either of those guys. I like Bijan Robinson a lot this year. He did have a lot of touches last year. I think 365, I think is the number I saw for him. So he had a lot of touches, but he's still a young guy. Yes, he's a younger guy. I'm not as worried about him. Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit. The Gibbs-Montgomery combo. Montgomery's going to keep stealing goal line carries from him, but Gibbs, though, but that's also a good thing, though, I think, because it also saves some of Gibbs' usage, which is why I think he can still be very dynamic. I like him. And then, like the Saquon, the Christian McCaffrey, the Derrick Henry, those are the next guys after that mix. But, I love Bijan this year. I think Bijan's going to have a monster year.
But the reason I go running back is because there's more receivers. 1 through 20 in receivers, not much difference. Sure. Right? I mean, for the most part, there's different. Obviously, the elite guys, Jamar Chase's, there's going to be a difference. But if you're in a 12-team league like we are, snake draft, you want to get I want to have a running back and a wide receiver at the end of the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I would like that also. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, I think that like Jamar Chase, it's a perfect situation because the Bengals defense sucks. They're going to lose a lot of games when they score 30 points. But because they suck on defense, they're going to be behind in passing a lot. So that's one of the reasons I really love Jamar Chase this year. He's my number one player across the board in standard scoring PPR, half point PPR. He's the guy I want to have out of everybody. And Chase Brown for the Bengals, also the running back there. He's another guy that I've been targeting, and you can get him, second, third round, usually third round at the latest, but he's going in the first 2 rounds a lot of times. But if you can get him late second, early third, I love Chase Brown for the same reason. The fact just the Bengals are going to score a lot of points.
So that brings us, Tito, to one of our questions from one of the Petermans. Cody wanted to know Jamar Chase or CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, I'm going Jamar Chase there, and it's close though because look, talking about some of the teams I love, and I love the Cowboys' offense this year. Hopefully Micah Parsons gets in there, but if he doesn't, still it's going to be high scoring there. It could be the Bengals of the NFC over there with what they've got. I would take Chase over CD, but it's close though. And on the Cowboys offense, by the way, I love Dak Prescott. I love George Pickens this year as a number 2 there in Dallas. He's not a number 1, which is what he's trying to be in Pittsburgh. He's a number 2 receiver who could very well benefit from that. But if I could have a stack, and that's the thing, about the stack, if most people don't know that, the stack, what you're taking there is a quarterback and receiver on the same team.
You like that?
I do. I would take in a couple mock drafts I've done so far to get ready, I've tried taking Chase and then get Burrow a few rounds later, and I would do the same thing with CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott.
But take Burrow maybe earlier than you would have.
A little bit earlier, yes.
In the 5th round.
Yeah, I was in a draft I just did last night. I think that we got Chase in the with the first pick overall, and then I think that Burrow went though in the 3rd round, and we missed out on him. But that's where you gotta look at the room, try to read the room. If people up here, if you're playing with in a league with people from Ohio, and it's like a local league, they're gonna get overdrafted. Former Buckeyes and Bengals will get overdrafted. If you're in like a national thing where it's a bunch of guys who are all over the country you don't know, it's a little bit different. But you got to read the room on things like that and know who you're drafting against. And if you're in a keeper league like your league there, where you have guys that are playing year after year, you kind of know the allegiances of some of the owners in there, and you can kind of figure out when they're going to take.
He's always looking for Michigan State guys and
of course he
Detroit Lions guys. He always he's a sucker for that. Always know that's coming. So what are your draft philosophies in general. We could talk about a lot of players next week, but just philosophically, what are your draft ideas?
So a lot of the things that I do are, like I talked originally about the quarterback thing. Wait on a quarterback. I let everyone else take the big name quarterbacks. Mahomes is a great name. He's a great quarterback. He's not a great fantasy quarterback, though. Typically, he's not. And people will draft him because he's Patrick Mahomes. They saw him playing the Super Bowl. They always see him in commercials. Whatever. They're going to do that. So let other people overdraft on names. I always
sit back and wait for Baker Mayfield in the 6th round.
Hey, Baker Mayfield, even Dak. If you wait on Dak too, because Dak's obviously coming off not the best year, injury stuff, all those things. Wait on Dak. I would love to have Dak Prescott. And so, Allen's going to go early. Hurts is going to go early. But I typically, with the first quarterback I take, I hope it's a mobile quarterback. Because it's such an added dimension to that, like the Jalen Hurts I just talked about. With him, the fact he can score on the tush push and all that, and he can do that. That certainly adds to his intrigue with that. What's that?
That's huge.
Yes, that's a big deal. Yeah. And so I always wait on quarterbacks. I'm never the first person to draft a quarterback in any draft I do. And usually I'm closer to the tail end of that. And if you get people who are dumb enough to draft kickers or defenses before the last 2 rounds, then take advantage of it. You never ever do that. Don't ever take a kicker or defense unless you've got some weird scoring rules.
Yeah, well, we have to fill out our team, so we have to draft 2 kickers and 2 defenses, which I always do the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, you do it at the end of it. Yep, that's when you do it. Yeah, that's when you have to do that. And so I look a lot at the volume of the carries guys have had. And now the name is escaping me. The running back that Dallas had, they ran into the ground and then went to the Texans, or vice versa. Who was it? DeAndre, not DeAndre.
Pollard? Not Pollard.
No, it was a DeAndre or I'll think of the name. I'll figure it out. Anyway, he had a bunch of carries, though.
I don't remember that, yeah.
No, he had a bunch of carries for Houston and then signed with Dallas as a free agent. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He had a ton of carries, like 6-7 years ago. I have to look it up now. Show prep would be good for me, wouldn't it? But that takes too much work. What's that? Dearness Johnson. So look at those kinds of things, though, and pay very close attention. Arian Foster, that's what I'm thinking of. Never mind. Sorry, not D. Arian Foster. Arian Foster is the one that they ran into the ground, and then was never the same after that. And so, I look at the number of touches guys have for their careers and in the previous season before I determine exactly where I want them. So I pay very close attention to that, and you've got to stay on top of the injuries and look at things. You can get great steals with rookies if you hit on those. Rookies are lottery tickets. They're true lottery tickets if you can get the right one, though. Until I know he's dinged up now, I believe, from what I heard. But I love Jaden Blue this year as a sleeper late in the draft.
Yeah,
as long as he can stay healthy.
Right, the healthy thing. That's it.
And
those Texas backs never stay healthy.
Any other rookies? I mean, I'm drafting Ibuka in the 8th or 9th round if he's there.
Hey,
he's gonna not only is he gonna start the season as the slot guy and probably get 8 to 10 targets a game from Baker, but I think even when Chris comes back, he'll be the number 3 guy and he'll play outside.
I loved Godwin last year going into that. I drafted him. I had a lot of stock in Godwin, and he was having such a great start till he got hurt. But it sounds like he's not going to be right when week 1 comes along. It's going to take a little time for him to get back.
He's probably going to take 3 or 4. I think he's going to start on the PUP list, so he probably won't start till week 4, which you might still get him as a bargain. If they if your draft is late. When do they have to declare the PUP list?
I'm not sure what the exact date is when they have to declare the PUP list, but Ibuka, though, is somebody who I love. I like Ibuka a lot. I think that I think he's gonna be great in that offense. The fact he's being in the slot there is gonna be great as well. And so
where is he going in drafts right now? He's data on that.
Yeah, we're getting him later. Like the couple of drafts I've done lately, I've been able to get him in like the 8th, 9th round, which is great value, I think. There.
Yeah. Well, damn.
Look, Mike Evans, I know has been consistent and been awesome and everything. He's got the records, for the 1,000 yards in a row, 1,000-yard seasons in a row, and all that. But he's getting up there, and I think Mayfield.
Let me give you a little scoop here, Tito.
Do it. Let's hear it.
Mike Evans looks better this year than he did as a rookie.
Really?
I'm telling you, and I'm not the only one saying that, but I said it early on. I mean, this guy looks faster. He's running better routes. He's getting more separation. And it's not just the Bucs corners are not great. I get it.
Right.
But I'm just by my eyeballs, he's catching the ball better than he ever has. Baker loves him. Injury. He took the hamstring last year, so you got to take that into consideration. But if he stays healthy, if he plays 17 games, he's going to have 14 touchdowns and 1,500 yards. I'm telling you, he's going to have a monster season. He is not, at least from an age standpoint, in his ability to run and get deep and catch and do all that.
Right.
His chemistry has never been better with a quarterback than he is with Baker. So I think he's going to have a huge year. I'm going to draft if I can get him in the first 3 or 4 rounds. I'm drafting.
Yeah, I'd love me some Bucky Irving too.
Oh God, yes, Bucky's going to have a monster season.
I think.
And Rashad White. Listen, if he's I don't know where Rashad White's getting drafted. What rounds?
Late.
Yeah. Great value with Rashad White because everybody's going to think Bucky's going to be get everything. He's not going to get everything. He's going to get a lot, but he's not going to get everything. And
especially early to start the season when you've got the offensive line in question without Wirfs.
PPR leagues, you definitely take Rashad because he's going to have 4 or 5 catches a game at least. So
how many leagues do you do, JP? Do you just do one league?
Yeah, I'm just doing one this year. We're toying with the idea of doing a JP Peterson Show league, but I need somebody to step up and run it because I ain't doing it. And Tim will do it.
Tim's got nothing going on. He's got a lot of free time. Are you kidding me? Come on, Tim.
One of my Petermans are going to have to step up and run the league, and if they do, we'll be happy to promote it and talk about it every week. But otherwise, I'm just doing my regular MFL league. Yeah.
On that fancy draft proxies thing, where I do drafts for people. Like I said, I did close to 100, I think, last year. But there's 2 or 3 leagues. I think there's 3 this year that I do on my own. And then I'll get hired by 10 to 12 people usually every year to run their league, to run their team for them.
Wow.
They'll pay me. And so I'm typically involved in about 15 leagues at one time.
Oh, how the hell do you keep up with that?
It's not easy, but listen, the beauty of it's not easy, but it's also easy because a couple things. One is I can kind of scroll through the teams and look at who's available as far as waiver wire stuff. That's the big thing. And then come time set starting lineups, I can usually breeze through that. I'll set a lineup on Thursday or Wednesday night. I'll set a lineup and then I'll check it again over the weekend and make sure nothing else has changed. But yeah, there's usually about 15 leagues I'm in. And by the way, people don't. This is the cheat code thing on fantasy draft proxies for me. I will do all these drafts before my big money league, so I get an idea of where people are getting drafted. So I'm getting paid to get the knowledge, is what it is, which is great. Yeah, but so I usually do my big money draft that I do, the big money league I'm in. It's usually very close to the start of the season, and I've got a lot of data by that point where I know where guys are going.
Yeah.
All right, Tito, great stuff. Tell everybody where they can get all your great content, brother.
Follow me on Twitter at DitHappens, where you can find me. Chad Rink and I do Fantasy Football Island. I do the Buckeye Daily Blitz. And Tim will laugh when I say this. I do the Black and Gold Blitz, right, Tim? But not enough. I know. Cover your head. That's fine. Anyway, but I'm on the Morning Juice with Bobby Carpenter on 97.1 The Fan. You can check us out there. Go to the app, and you can check me and Bobby out Monday through Friday from 6 to 8 a.m. Eastern Time.
All right, Tito. Great stuff. Appreciate it,
Thanks,
brother.
guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we got Bucs and Titans tomorrow night, Rays and Mariners this weekend. Go Rays, go Bucs. We're going to end this show with this. More Right Rudder said, just saw the gentleman at the gym and told him I was watching a Bucs show. He said, I know JP. We used to call him Pistol. K.A. at FSU. That's right.
Pistol JP.
Pistol Peterson. Pistol Pete. Yep, that's it. So he's in Texas, right? More Right Rudder?
Yeah, he's in Plano. Yeah, he lives right around the corner from me.
He's in a gym in Texas,
apparently,
and we're well known in the gym in Texas. Come on now,
I've told you that I've been recognized in a bar here in Dallas from your show.
How about that? We're worldwide. We're worldwide. All right. Well, I'm off to the DMV. That should be fun. Have a great day, a great weekend, everybody. We'll be doing a little post-game show for the Bucs-Titans on Saturday night. So check that out with Peter Blake, and we will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.